Hello, and welcome to another episode of Sam Tries Reading. I like to break the spines on my book, okay? Don't judge me. Smut. Today I'll be reviewing Her Soul for Revenge by Harley Laroux. If you're on my Patreon, you already know that I reviewed the first book in the Souls trilogy, Her Soul to Take, there. So if you haven't joined Patreon, go ahead and do so. The link is down below. Now that my little ad is over, let's get into it. Technically, you can read these books out of order because all they are is a story from different characters' perspectives, or the same story from different characters' perspectives. Each story so far, I haven't read the third one yet, but I did purchase it the other day at the Rip Bodice here in Brooklyn. Review pending. Each story always follows two characters. One of the demons, because this has demons, and a human. In the story of Her Soul to Take, we follow the characters, Juniper and Zane, which I think I'm saying right. That's what it looks like. The book starts with Juniper almost getting sacrificed by a cult that is in her town. But luckily she gets away because she's a badass. Also, you find out later in the book, spoiler, she got help from a witch who's in the cult. It's complicated. Anyway, she gets away and she essentially kind of runs away from the town, travels to the United States. She runs away from the town after she was put into a psychiatric ward by her parents. Travels to the United States until she finds out the cult has sacrificed her brother in her place. And then she comes back with a mind for revenge. Zane is a demon who kind of hangs out in the Seattle town. Well, it's not Seattle, but the Washington state town she grew up in, because the cult's energy gives off like a good vibe for demons, essentially. Also, his best friend, who is the main character in this book, is essentially enslaved by the cult, and he doesn't want to leave his buddy. Buddy in many senses of the word. But while he's here, he learns about Juniper, meets her, and is like, I want her soul. Hence, later when Juniper comes back to the town, they make a deal for her soul if she can take revenge on the whole cult. I do think this is a good time to read some of the trigger warnings at the beginning to you all, just so you kind of get a better sense. Because Juniper has gone through a lot. I mean, she was almost sacrificed by a cult. By her best friend, by the way. So I just want to read the little part of the trigger warning about her, just so that it gives you a better understanding if this is a book you want to read. When I first wrote Juniper's story, I knew this was a character who carried so much pain. She was a survivor, a fighter, an imperfect woman, fueled by rage, who could captive a creature as powerful as a demon. When depicting a character like Juniper, who lives with PTSD, it is imperative to me that her healing be celebrated, not as her final destination, but as a journey. As someone who has struggled with mental health for most of my life, it is my wholehearted belief that love should embrace even the most damaged and difficult parts of ourselves. True love will be there through the healing journey, not waiting at the end of it. That is what I hope to depict with Zane and Juniper. Love through healing, through brokenness, and through pain. I think the author did a really great job in portraying this, but it is something to note before you jump in case that's something that would affect you. I really enjoyed their love story. It is very different from the first one if you've read Her Soul to Take. It is very kink positive, just like the first one, but I will tell you the kink is a little bit different. There's some similarities to the first one, but some major differences. Be aware. There's also something that happens with a gun that she owns that's like, whoa, something to note. I will say out of the two, I enjoyed this love story better. I also enjoyed the kink better in this one than this one. But that's just my personal preference. Now, when I read books, I do dog ear things. I know. So first of all, I dog ear the smutty parts, which, if you're curious, this book has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 smutty parts. And they're all very, very different. A warning as well, there is some like body piercing kink in here too. In case that's not your thing, just be aware. That also happens in the first one too, but in different places. But talking about my dog ear flap system, bottom dog ear flaps are for the smutty parts. Top ones are for like food inspiration, I find, or really good quotes. And I have two that I dog ear flapped here that I want to share with you, which for reference, I have two here. You know what? I had two in both and I want to share them with you from this one. Actually, I have 5 dog ear flapped for this one, only 2 in the other one. Anyway, let me read you some of the quotes I dog ear flapped. Sometimes I dog ear flap too when I think there's theories that might be important as well. This was one that really hit me. When enough people tell you you're crazy, you begin to question your own mind. You pick apart your memories bit by bit, unraveling them until they're disjointed and strained, rearranged, every second doubted. The story I'd told so many times to rescuers, to police, to my mother, my brother, over and over with increasing desperation, was woven throughout my mind, stitching together who I was back then and whoever I'd become. Most people have fantasized about danger, how they would escape, how they would fight, how they'd be too smart to be hurt, but those fantasies are nothing compared to the moment it happens. Sometimes you can watch danger coming at you like a freight train, and all you can do is stand there. All you can do is let it overtake you. Sometimes there's no running, no fighting. Sometimes bad shit happens. The bad shit changes you. You can't look at the world the same. You realize that manners, morals, culture, society, friends, and family are all fake. They're ideas we cling to make existence bearable. When it's ripped away, the fake optimism, bullshit, the only thing you have left is survival. Survival is messy. Survival has no morals or kindness. Survival isn't black and white, good versus evil. Survival is shades of red. It's blood taken and blood lost. This author, who by the way, is non-binary, I feel is so good about talking about feelings and also being like explaining why people would be into BDSM or kinky sex. And it creates really great empathy, I think. If it's something you want to learn more about, these are really good books to learn more about it. This was like another part of the story that really got to me. It is towards the end, so big old spoilers. This is after she has taken her revenge, let's say. Well, not let's say, it is after she's taken her revenge. I don't know what my life is supposed to be, I said, closing my eyes because it was all too much. In the darkness behind my closed eyes, it was only me and him. In the dark, I could pretend I felt no fear of the future. I could imagine I didn't still feel chained to pain like it was an anchor I was trying to drag with me, even though I longed to leave it behind. This world isn't meant for me. I don't think it ever was. He grinned, still holding me. You weren't made for this world, love. You're too much for it, as am I. But that doesn't mean you can't make it yours. He pressed his forehead to mine. You deserve to live. Eternity will be yours, but until then, I'll be beside you for whatever life you want to live. I swallowed hard. What if I'm too broken? What if I can't? What if I can't heal? What if I couldn't put myself together enough to live? What if I knew only how to survive? And what if I could only desperately drag myself through every day? What then? What if revenge was all I had, and now that it was over, I didn't know how the hell to go forward? You can be broken, he said. You'll never be too broken for me. You can be monsters, you and I. Or we can be monsters, sorry, you and I. We can be wretched, messy, strange things. Wretched, sorry. Dyslexia! If you're afraid, then you can be afraid. When you lose your light, I'll still come back for you in the dark. You're not alone. He kissed my forehead. You'll never be alone again. It's just really sweet. Now that I've shared some of my favorite moments from the book, / quotes. I don't know if they're called quotes. I would call them more moments because I read you quite a bit. It wasn't just one-liners. I'm gonna give you some ratings. For the smut, I give this a 4 out of 5. Mostly because this one was a 5 out of 5, and I think that's just because of my preference. Let me know what yours are in the bottom. And now you probably know way too much about me. As far as a book, I give it a 7 out of 10. And that's only because I already knew the story and I may have just read them too close together. I essentially read these books back to back, and I think I needed some time in between just so the story wasn't super fresh in my mind. Because this was a really good book and I could not put it down. This one, because I kind of knew what was already coming, despite it. I mean, there are big differences between the two books because, you meet both these characters in this book, but they're not there all the time. You learn what they were up to while they were doing other things, But I think because I kind of knew where it was going and I knew how it ended, I didn't feel oh my gosh, what's gonna happen next? Because I already knew. You know what I mean? So I give it a 7 out of 10. I did enjoy it. I did thoroughly love it, which means it's staying in the library. I meant to get this out earlier this year, but my husband, for Christmas, got me a little library stamp. So let's stamp it, because it's staying around. I don't know if it's gonna show up if I try and show you. Oh yeah, it does! It's officially in my library. That can give you a better sense of the rating plus how much I liked it. Because something can have a lower rating and I still like it. Like, I don't know. I need to do this one too, because this one's definitely staying in the library too. It's so much fun. It comes with a nice nifty bag. I have a good husband. Well, if you've read both of these books, let me know which one was your favorite in the comments below. I am very curious, and I'm waiting a little bit of time before I read the third book. Just because I want to kind of forget some of the details, so that it's more exciting. Although I'm very excited because the third book follows the witch in it. If you're still around, I'm gonna put in a shameless plug for my poetry book, because if you like demons, maybe you like mer creatures from around the world. Now, there is no smut in this. It's just poetry that goes through mer creatures from around the world through the alphabet. I wrote the poems, and my mermaiding partner from Bubbles and Buoy, Rachel Zigman, did the illustrations. You can find it on Amazon. The link is down below if you would like to purchase it. Here's a sneak peek. If you want to hear me read that poem, go check out Bubbles and Buoy on Instagram. Until next time, bye!